Okay, so let's just jump right in. Imagine a multi-million peso heist. No alarms, no smashed locks, nothing. The entire thing goes down in the middle of the day during a totally normal, scheduled lunch break. Now, this isn't some plot from a heist movie. This is a terrifying reality in the security world, and it highlights this massive fundamental flaw we call the break paradox.
So picture this. It's a Tuesday afternoon at this huge commercial warehouse. You know the kind of place. It's just a beehive of activity. Trucks rolling in and out, cargo everywhere. Security is supposed to be ironclad. All the procedures are followed to the letter, or so everyone thought.
And look at how surgically precise this was. I mean, this timeline lays it all out. 5 a.m., Officer Ben kicks off a grueling 12-hour shift. At 1 p.m., like clockwork, he's properly relieved by Officer Carla, and he heads off for a well-deserved break. Just 30 minutes later, a van pulls up with these incredibly sophisticated forged papers. It takes him just 5 minutes to get in, get the goods, and get out. And here's the real kicker. Nobody even realizes what happened until 7:35 p.m., a full 6 hours later.
And the score? 12 million pesos worth of high-end electronics. Just gone. And it all vanished during a standard 45-minute lunch break. The loss was absolutely catastrophic, and it all hinged on that one tiny window of transition.
So this brings us to the big, messy question, right? Who's on the hook for this? Is it Officer Ben, who was on his scheduled break? Is it Officer Carla, who got fooled by a masterful forgery? Or is the problem something much, much deeper? Is the system itself broken? That's what we're here to unpack.
To even start to answer that, we have to dive into this fundamental conflict that haunts the entire security industry, something the pros call the break paradox. And this definition really just nails it. It's a razor's edge. See, we expect our security guards to be hyper alert, but come on, nobody can stay 100% focused for 12 hours straight. Humans have to rest to be effective, but the very second they step away to rest, they create a gap, a vulnerability. It's a total catch-22. What this really boils down to is two powerful forces just constantly slamming into each other. On one side, you've got basic human biology and, labor laws demanding that people get a break. On the other side, you've got this constant 24/7 threat that demands absolutely zero gaps in security. Those two things are always at war.
So how do we even begin to sort this out? Well, it turns out not all breaks are created equal, and the source material for this explainer gives us a really powerful way to think about it by breaking them down into 4 distinct categories. This is the framework that helps us see where the real danger is.
So this framework basically runs from best to worst. You've got Category A, which is the gold standard. Then there's Category B, this huge gray area where things start to get dicey. Category C covers the kind of fatal mistakes that end careers. And finally, Category D, well, that's when the whole system's rotten from the top down. Let's take a look at each one.
Okay, Category A. This is the dream scenario. It's exactly how things are supposed to work. And actually, Officer Ben's break at the beginning of our story, that was a perfect Category A. He was fully relieved, totally off the clock, and all responsibility for that gate transferred to Officer Carla. In this situation, the guard on break is completely, 100% in the clear, legally and operationally.
But now we get to Category B, the gray area. And honestly, this is where most security operations actually live. So imagine if Officer Carla wasn't a dedicated reliever. What if she was just covering for a minute while Officer Ben ate his lunch at the desk, still expected to keep his radio on just in case? That's a Category B break. He's not really resting, right? Which means he gets fatigued and the company is opening itself up to massive liability.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly sums up Category C, the fatal mistakes. Now, we're not talking about system problems anymore. This is about one individual officer making a conscious, career-ending choice. Things like deliberately walking away from their post or, the cardinal sin, sleeping on the job.
And that brings us to the last one, Category D, total management failures. Let's go back to our warehouse. What if management was so cheap they were always understaffed? So Officer Carla was always late relieving Officer Ben, forcing him to work exhausted. See, that's a system failure. In this case, the guard isn't the problem. They're a victim of the problem.
Okay, so now that we have this handy framework, let's circle all the way back to that big question we started with. When it all goes wrong during a break, who really takes the fall?
So who takes the fall?
Well, this accountability matrix gives us a pretty clear answer. For a Category A break, the ideal one, like Officer Ben's, the guard has zero accountability. None. But in that messy Category B gray area, the blame is shared, and honestly, management carries most of it. Now, for a Category C fatal mistake, that is 100% on the guard. But in a Category D system failure, the guard is the victim, and management is fully, completely accountable. It really all depends on the type of break.
So, after digging through all of this, what's the big takeaway? Why does a simple thing like a security guard's break matter so much? Well, because a break is not just downtime. It's not a coffee break. A company's policy on breaks is a core, critical piece of its security infrastructure. How a company handles its breaks tells you everything you need to know about how seriously it takes its own safety.
And that leaves us with one last, really important question to think about. Whether it's your office, your apartment building, or your community, you've got to ask yourself, is the safety system you're counting on built on a solid foundation? Or, like that warehouse, is it just one single lunch break away from total collapse?